Hi everyone, again this is Dr. Vangelik. In this video I am going to talk about some summary concepts of chapter 5, which is managing for quality. So we touched base with chapter 1 summary points in the previous video in week 1. So what you learned in that video is what is supply chain management and what are the key points between being a service company or manufacturing company and what it means to have an integrated supply chain management. And today we are going to, well, in this video, we are going to understand how to manage quality in a very generic overview of handling quality-related issues in supply chain management. So we made the differences between being a manufacturing company and service company, or providing services or goods for the customers. So let's talk more about what the quality dimensions are for products, tangible products versus services when we deal with their supply chain. Okay, so let's start with the quality dimensions of products. So I listed out all these dimensions, but one thing that you should definitely think when it comes to measuring quality dimensions for a product is that quality means different things for different people. So my understanding of quality might be completely different than yours, right? I like a certain brand and you like a different brand. I like, for example, when I go shopping for shoes, I like them to be very comfortable and preferably leather type of shoes. But my wife picks, some of the most looking good type of shoes too, right? Her understanding of quality might be completely different than mine. When it comes to analyzing commercial products and services, again, the same logic. But let's try to relate ourselves to these quality dimensions in a much more practical sense. So let's start with the performance. By the way, these are on this line, I list the quality dimensions of products. On the next slide, I'm going to talk about quality dimensions of the service, and you will see that why we have that kind of different sets when it comes to understanding quality in products and services. So performance means the best kind of feature in that product. For example, if you're buying cars, your performance quality measure might be the fastest car in the world, or the most efficient, gas efficient or carbon dioxide efficient car that you're looking for, right? Performance is that kind of quality dimension. So when it comes to conformance is a more generic quality dimension, and it also, some of it contains the concept of performance. So it should be performing really at the best level, but also meet other specifications. So for example, if you are an electric car enthusiast, right? So there are not really many options out there, but let's assume that you're comparing GM's electric car. It's a very small car. I forgot the brand name, but versus Tesla's Model Y, right? So of course, Tesla's Model Y is going to come with a lot more higher conformance level because it means being faster and it meets some other technological specifications compared to GM's. But GM's car comes with a cost advantage too, right? So when you try to think about like conformance, think about the performance levels plus meeting other technical specifications, okay? Features, those are usually belts and whistles of services or goods that you are purchasing from different companies. Like for example, during normal times, I used to travel a lot and I used to prefer JetBlue flights over other airlines because JetBlue gives much more space, leg space next to or in front of your seats. And JetBlue comes with much more different alternatives when it comes to snacks, right? So those kind of like quality levels that come with different products and services are under features category. Durability and reliability, those go hand in hand. So I want you to be aware of the difference. So durability is actually average life of a product or service, how durable your products and services are. Reliability, on the other hand, is the ability to perform the intended functions. So if you purchased an iPhone, right? You want to take a look at it, and then you see whether it is taking the pictures in the right way with the right specifications. It is letting you use 5G these days, like iPhone 12 does, right? So it means that it is, if it is doing that, those kind of things, then it is a reliable phone, right? Meaning that it is functioning as the way that it should be. Durability is how long it's going to last for your use. Okay, it's a different concept. So serviceability is, on the other hand, is another nice quality dimension. Apple started this genius concept. So if you have an Apple product, you go to Apple Store to get it fixed. Serviceability, if they cannot really get it done, whatever the problem is, then they usually replace it with the brand new version, right? If as far as your iPhone or your Mac is under warranty. Microsoft did the same thing. So Microsoft opened Microsoft Store still, and then they followed the lead of Apple, so that they are in this dimension. They are having some sort of like nice competition, right? And whenever we go purchase products or services, we want to make sure that if something happens with it, we would be feeling good about returning it back to the store or getting it fixed very quickly, very easily. Okay, so that's a different dimension of quality when it comes to products. Aesthetics, this is very subjective, right? So super subjective. The way that look, feel, smell, sound, or taste, everybody has a different taste for sure, right? I'm not going to get into the specifics about aesthetics. Perceived quality is also another thing. So usually comes under like the brand names. Um, your brand might be completely different than my preferred brand, and people change, and their perceived quality changes as well. As it's maybe your age is important, maybe the way that you live is important. It depends on many other things as well. But for example, Gucci handbags are super expensive, but people are in those are in high demand. People love to have them, right? When you look at the other dimensions of the quality with Gucci handbags, those might be super low, but perceived quality is super high. Maybe people are preferring those handbags because of that. So when you look at the entire, let's see how many we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 different dimensions of quality dimensions of a product, you will understand that a company should not really address customer needs in all these 8 quality dimensions, right? So if there's a company addressing 3 or 4 of them, and they are the market lead, I would not be surprised, because addressing all 8, being a champion in all 8 dimensions is an extremely hard thing to do. And it's a very, very expensive thing to do as well. So what companies do, they say, we should set our expectations with 3 and 4 of these dimensions, and we should be ahead in the game compared to our competitors. And that's how we should grasp the market share, right? They're good to go, right? If you really strategically plan well and then act wisely, you should handpick these quality dimensions and make your operations perfect in these quality dimensions levels, and then get ahead of the game. Then you're good to go. Well, addressing all 8 is super cool, but it's extremely hard and very expensive thing to do. So let's take a quick look at the quality dimensions of a service. When it comes to service, then we do have service reliability, meaning that we deliver accurately and dependably. So when we are going over these service levels, I want you to think about like a hotel service, right? By the time, well, it's starting with the time that you check in, and then after it ends at the time that you check out. So service reliable would be delivered accurately and dependably, meaning that, for example, your room was advertised as like, it comes with a hot tub or maybe double beds or a king bed, whatever whatever the advertisement was. Are they meeting those advertised specs as they give you that kind of service? If they are, then they're a reliable company. Service responsiveness, the definition is the willingness to promptly help a customer with special requests. Something happened in my room. Maybe I'm not getting hot water, and I call the receptionist. Are they really responding me nicely, and are they willing to fix that right away? If they are, then they are being a responsive company. Service assurance, the definition is building confidence in customers regarding continuous quality. Are they making sure that I'm not having that problem next day, right? Are they making sure that my stay was good, and then I will be feeling comfortable booking with them again? Then they are assuring me a good quality service. Empathy. Are they providing care and support? Maybe I'm handicapped and I need a certain special request, and I wrote to my hotel before my stay. Are they providing the right care and support for me? Right? Are they being empathetical? Right? Are they putting themselves in my shoes and giving me the special need that I desire? Tangibles. These are physical features, ambience and consumable goods. Like the brand of the soap that I use in my room during my stay, um, the smell that I get whenever I first enter the facility or my room. What else? Like the pools or the gym. Are they using super brand new gym equipment in their gyms? Right? Those are like more subjective when it comes to people's perception, right? But it is also another important quality dimension. So in services, we do have, instead of 8, we do have only 5 quality dimensions, but those are, each one of them is important. But again, quality means different things for different people, and usually service companies, they do not really address all 5 of them. If they do, um, they are usually like expensive services that you get. Usually they handpick 1, 2, or 3 of them, and they would like to perfectionize them so that they can get ahead of the game. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Some benefits and some costs to handle quality. These are important to be aware of. But of course, the most important benefit is the customer satisfaction. So if the customer is happy, they will get back to you and you will sell more. Hopefully, they will result in revenue increases. Hopefully, you are doing it in a nice, really nicely done way. That way, you are reducing the costs of offering that service or that product to your customers. And hopefully, that will result in an increase in your productivity. So if it takes you like 5 hours to manufacture something with the nice managing quality, you will be able to get it done in like in 2 hours. That will be saving of 3 hours. Those are the type of like increases in productivity that I'm talking about. But of course, it comes with some of the costs. So you have to make sure that there are no quality-related errors in your operations. You have to spend and invest some money. That falls under prevention costs, right? It's better to prevent an error from happening before it happens, right? Rather it happened and then you have to deal with it later. There are some other type of costs, like appraisal costs. Those are usually like inspection of products. So companies, they manufacture, let's say, thousands of different, let's say, stylists, right? I'm using a stylist right now. Let's assume that these are companies manufacturing thousands of them. They don't really check the quality for each one, right? What they do is they check the quality of handpicked, randomly selected ones to make sure that they are sending the right batch to their customers. So those are the appraisal costs. Internal failure costs. So these are the errors before the product or service delivery to the customers. What happens if you caught something like maybe a batch is defective, right? And when I say a batch, those are like maybe you're sending hundreds of different styles to your customers, and after your observation, you realize that a batch is completely defective. You caught it on the spot. What you do is cannot really sell them to customers. You have to rework on them maybe and to fix the errors, right? Those are the internal failure costs. Those are, again, much more nicer compared to external failure costs. What happens if you sold your products to customers and then customers got back to you and say, you know what, this is defective, right? In that case, you would have to encounter with much more higher numbers compared to internal failure costs to deal with. Usually the recalls of the cars, if they are not meeting some certain safety standards, Toyota does that all the time, Honda does it all the time, and GM does it all the time. Whenever there's a safety issue, for example, with their airbags, they recall your car and then get it fixed in a dealership, right? And then send you back with a safe car, right? So those are much more costly than catching those kind of costs in the house. Okay, again, why is it so difficult to manage quality then? All right, we are all aware of these quality dimensions. We are knowledgeable about the costs and the benefits that it comes with it, right? But why it is so difficult to handle quality management? Well, it's because there are a lot of different sources of variation, right? You have to be able to control your variation in your product dimensions. For example, if you're producing these styles, you want to make sure that it is this size. Should not be really this big or this small. It should be exactly this size. There are some certain noises that your operations might be making, right? Some machines are getting faulty. Maybe its maintenance time is right around the corner and it's not performing as you wish. There might be some of your workers are, reporting to work very sick, all right? They didn't notify, or they're having some like internal issues with their families and their mind is not really on the work, right? Those might be different sorts of variations that you might see in your environment. It's very difficult to control all of them, right? Therefore, you have to adopt a philosophy to manage variability in your operations. So one important concept that people use all the time is called total quality management. And the Japanese people actually are pioneered this philosophy. That's why we call it Kaizen. In Japanese word, Kaizen that we use all the time. So it has 4 stages: plan, do, study, and act. So it's a continuous loop. And that's actually a philosophy that people use all the time in the entire company, not necessarily manufacturing, not necessarily in marketing, not necessarily in finance, but in the entire company, they adopt this philosophy to make sure that they are controlling the source of variation in every iteration. Okay, so you read the details, please, and you read the case study in your textbook regarding total quality management. The other one is Six Sigma. Six Sigma is a statistical process control of the production and manufacturing activities. It originated like manufacturing total quality management control tool, but service companies are using it all the time too. Motorola came up with this concept. So Six Sigma refers to this phenomenon. All right, so I'm going to create a page so that I can draw it here. Let's see. Okay, I got the empty page. All right. Some of you took statistics, some of you did not, but just bear with me. In normal probability distribution, we do have this bell curve, right? Where we have the mean of operations here. So this is the mean or the average value. And if you go, for example, let's talk about the length of this stylus again. Let's say that the average weight is, I don't know, maybe 3 inch, right? If you go 1 standard deviation below and above the mean, right? This would be, might be just too big, but plus 1 standard deviation, mu minus 1 standard deviation. And if you go 2 standard deviation below and above the mean, I'm going to give you the specific numbers here. Let's assume that this is mu minus 2 standard deviation and mu minus 3 standard deviation. And on the other hand, we do have mu plus 2 standard deviation and mu plus 3 standard deviation. So these are the extremes of these lengths, right? So if you have the variation in this length of the stylus within a 1 standard deviation, and what you do is you are actually being accurate 31% of the time. It's super low, right? Meaning that you are hitting the customer standards just 1/3 of the time. That's not really being successful. And if you are within 2 sigma meaning that if you are below and above, 2 sigma below and 2 sigma above your mean, you are being accurate for 2 sigma plus 2 sigma, that would be 4 sigma, right? Actually, here, 4 sigma level. Then you are being actually 99% 4 of the time accurate. So the production that produce, let's say 100 of these styles, 99.4 of them are going to meet your standards. What happens if you go 3 sigma below and 3 sigma above your mean? Means that you are capturing it very nicely. You are being 99.99966% of the time accurate. If you convert this into number of defectives into 1 million production, these are the numbers, defective numbers that you will get. So for the 6 sigma level, you are getting actually 3.4 defective out of 1 million that you produce. So that's a very negligible number when it comes to defective products, right? So therefore, we would like our operations to be running in 6 sigma level so that we can control our operations, and then we meet the customer specifics. In chapter 6, you are going to learn how to keep things under statistical process control. Okay. Here's a different illustration. Your operations might be your operations, or maybe average. If you look at the average length of this stylus, take a look at this chart, number 1. Maybe your average is fine. As you can see, those axes might be your the length of the stylus that you produce, right? They are all over the place, but if you take the averages, they are very close to the center, right? If you focus on average comes with these kind of problems. So if you just take the average of the styluses that you produce and you focus on the averages, the average comes with this kind of like variation in the blind spot, right? If you look only the variances, right? So look at the size, look at the axis here on the top right graph. What you have here is that those are very close together. The variation might be small, but you are off the target, right? So 6 sigma is trying to move things into the right direction. So the number 3 chart here is going to give you the right average and with minimum variation. Okay, so that's super important to understand this concept. You like to be accurate, at the same time you like to do this accuracy with minimum variation. All right, so 6 sigma comes with several stages: define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. Again, in a continuous loop, like in total quality management, with 6 sigma, we do have a continuous loop here, right? And there is an example in your textbook that talks about procurement quality in the manufacturing company in the context of 6 sigma. Please make sure that you read that section. One last thing that I would like to say is that there are some certain organizations in the entire world, serving the entire world. One of them is ISO. ISO stands for International Organization for Standardization. So what they do is, those are organizations, those are like companies, monitoring companies about quality. So they give services for manufacturing and service companies. They do have certain standards, and one of the most recent ones are ISO 9000. These are special for manufacturing companies. They're going to come and audit your company, and they're going to measure whether you are falling into certain quality standards, right? And they do have other standardization for environmental and sustainable requirements, and that's called ISO 14000. And they do have series of other certifications that they can give you. And then they're going to come and visit, audit your facility, whether it is a service company or manufacturing company, very frequently. And you have to abide by the rules and regulations. So if you are performing nicely, they're going to issue a standard, and you can put that standardization at the back of your product, saying that we are ISO certified. Whenever you are buying something from the grocery market, feel free to take a look at the label at the back of it and try to look for ISO standardization. Many products have them. Okay. So what it means to have a quality management control in the entire supply chain. Well, imagine that you have suppliers who are following Six Sigma principles, and they are perfectionizing their operations, and they will be delivering you nice quality goods and services. And if you are yourself implementing Six Sigma or other total quality management concept in your operations, then you are also getting those perfectionized raw materials, goods, and services, and you are putting effort into towards total quality management. You are producing really nice quality goods and services, and your customers are enjoying that superiority in your quality management. It means that your products are going to last longer, right? In sustainability versus quality, if you are offering good quality products to your customers, it means that your goods and services are going to last longer, which is good for sustainability because you are not going to waste other, global resources, right? Second, your product quality is going to lead to higher productivity. By that way, you would be minimizing the waste in your operations, and hopefully overall you are going to consume less and less raw material. So offering high quality goods and services, that's important. That's going to impact our bottom line, our revenue, right? But it's also going to help the entire global world. All right, that will be the end of summary points of chapter 5. If you have any questions, please let me know.